What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going to talk about SoFi, what's going on in the market. So basically, today was another choppy day. The market just needs to pick a direction. It has been all over the place with tons of Fed speakers coming out talking about tapering, the government shutting down potentially, which now we know is not going to happen. They passed everything to negate that, and the infrastructure bill that they're still trying to pass, so we will hear more about that tomorrow, which could potentially take the market higher if that passes. So overall today, just talking about SoFi, the offering was increased from 750 million to 1.1 billion convertible senior notes due 2026. This doesn't bother me at all, but when I saw this, I did play puts on SoFi this morning just for a quick scalp, got 20% and got out. People love to overreact and panic sell, so I just capitalized on that while, people sold. I also bought more SoFi today shares ahead of these big catalysts that are coming up. This really doesn't bother me. We know this money is for the bank charter and for future endeavors. I don't think it's going to hurt the company. Typically, these are just overreactions, and we're going to get into the chart. We're going to get into the dark pools and some things that you may want to see. All right, now looking at SoFi's day today. Volume did pick up towards the end of the day, but I do remember looking at the volume this morning, and it was much lower than the average volume, and that's where you kind of saw the choppy movement. It looked very weird, and I personally did buy shares today. It hit my buy zone and almost filled that entire gap fill that I have been talking about in all my videos since SoFi pumped. Now, the day's range was 1553 to 1606. I'm going to show the chart in a second here, but I think this is a pretty good spot to add. I prefer adding at 15 or less, but I'm not trying to time this. I'm long-term on SoFi. We have a lot coming for it, so I don't want to sit here and try to wait for a specific price to hit and miss the boat. So another way, you could buy SoFi cheaper is to sell, say, a $15 put, and if it exercises, well, you just got to buy it at 15, and if it doesn't, you just keep the premium. So that's another strategy to use, but I just preferred to add some shares today. All right, now getting into the dark pool orders, and I think you guys may want to see this. Now, while everyone's panic selling and freaking out that SoFi's selling off and these offerings are coming, and maybe this stock isn't going to go up after all, you see these large orders coming in. These are smart money, large institutional investors buying up SoFi. So here is dark pool. This is the huge volume shelf at 1585 where they're loading up. You can see large orders here, 490,700 dark blocks, 7.8 million in premium at 1592. So that's pretty big right there. Then this one right here, you can see the ticker SoFi, tons of call flow coming in, golden sweeps coming in. And this one right here, almost 7 million in premium for calls on SoFi and only 2 million premium on puts. Then we scroll over to Twitter here, and it says SoFi size dark pool activity 3.33 million shares at 1675. And then we have a bit of an ad there, but this is pretty cool. They are loading up ahead of these catalysts, so don't be panicking. More to come for SoFi, and I thought people would want to see this. So I think that's pretty interesting that large institutional investors and dark pools are loading up on SoFi ahead of the bank charter and other catalysts, but bank charter being the main one. Obviously, SoFi is at a good deal right now, and they do expect a move higher. Now, I found this article on Reddit. It's linked below if you guys want to check it out and read it yourself. It's by No Rule 1716, just talking about the bank charter timeline and update. Now, we're long-term on this anyway, but as far as people buying options and stuff, I do believe the bank charter is coming in October or November. So just give yourself some cushion, give yourself some time on those options, and they will likely print some tendies. Now, his edit here talks about why SoFi did the offering. So they would add an additional 750 mil upon bank charter approval. Here's a direct quote from the March 9th, 2021 press release. If granted a national bank charter by the OCC, SoFi plans to contribute 750 million in capital and pursue its national digital business plan while maintaining GPB's community bank business and footprint, including GPP's current 3 physical branches. Now, the extra money they raised, I'm not sure exactly what that is going to be for yet, but maybe other endeavors they're going to go on. Now, the bank charter elects to have its CRA performance evaluated under the strategic plan with a proposed period of November 1st, 2021. Then he edits it here and says this came out. They increased to 1.1 billion. Square did the same thing just before their bank charter. His conclusion is that they have received bank charter approval, and the 750 million bond sell is confirmation of the approval. Now, there's some comments down here, people going back and forth, but I do agree with him. I think this is going to come out very soon. And then he says that the 1 billion debt offering, it's not share dilution, it's a bond that can be converted to a share in 2026 without diluting shares. This shows that institutional investors buying the bonds have confidence the share price will appreciate or go higher. And that's a no-brainer for most of us invested in Sofi. All right, now taking a look at the charts. So we're starting with the 15-minute here, and things actually worked out exactly how I anticipated them to. A couple videos back, I said that this could come down to around the 15 area. I made a guesstimate of how that would look, and here it is on the screen right here. So that actually almost played out perfectly. Sofi did sell off. We came down to this gap, and I talk about gaps all the time, but for some reason they just like to be filled. And we are crossing up. We were oversold before pumping up a little bit towards the end of the day, but that's just the 15-minute. As you can see, we did enter the gap a little bit and bounce. All right, now taking a look at the 45-minute chart, very similar to what we just looked at. Basically, we were in this downtrend this morning, and it formed this somewhat of a falling wedge, and we bounced from there. So that is right where people were waiting to buy, right when it entered the gap. MACD is crossing up, and we are still oversold. So I'm pretty excited to see where Sofi goes from here now that we have come down to this area, and we will show you the daily. We actually did fill the gap completely, but it was really good to see this break out of this downtrend towards the end of the day. All right, now looking on the daily, things are much clearer. Now, although Sofi didn't technically come down and show that the price was 15.29 or less for that entire gap fill, we wicked the entire thing. And basically that is what kind of signaled me to buy some more shares. I don't think we're going to come down under 15. We could chop around the next couple of days depending on the overall market, but seeing the dark pools add and seeing this wick here, I personally loaded up on Sofi today. Just added more shares, nothing too risky. Now, overall, the RSI on the daily is neutral, not overbought or not oversold, and the MACD is still bullish. So we'll see how it goes in the coming days, but I really liked seeing this entire gap fill. Now we'll see if we bounce from here. And, heading into these catalysts, heading into October, a new month, a new quarter, maybe we will see a rotation into these small caps, because if you guys know, the sell-off today, it was the end of the quarter and also the end of September, which is typically a bearish month. So you're going to see the portfolios being rebalanced, and maybe those large institutional investors that were heavy into Apple, Google, Amazon, they already got their great returns from this last quarter from those stocks. So maybe they're rebalancing, and we could see a rotation into these small caps, because these are, in my opinion, the best deals in the market with the most upside, when they do become bullish again. So we'll see. Maybe Q4 will be for small caps, and we will see something like Sofi start really taking off. So wrapping things up, just going to touch on a bit more flow for Sofi. So the confirmed large orders for the previous 7 days, we have calls bought 5.9 million, calls sold 4.4 million, puts bought 703,000, and puts sold 2.9 million. So that is 63% bull flow, 37% bear flow, and that was the last 7 days. Now, the last 1 day of confirmed large orders flipped a little bit just due to the offering, likely people taking advantage of it. So 58% bear flow, 42% call flow. Now, calls bought was 1.1 million and calls sold was 1.6 million, likely people just selling calls for either this Friday or next Friday, collecting some premium while Sofi is going through this and they don't think that their strike will be exercised. And then puts bought 38,000 and puts sold 44,000. So people are trying to get Sofi a bit lower. Now, the bear flow is just a little bit higher right now, but this will likely pass. So that is it for Sofi and the update today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to check out the Discord and the Patreon. Please like and subscribe, and have a good one.